You present at the first Earth Day activities at the Brown County Arena?
I don't think I was. I think I was on leave that year. But Earth Day,
It's April 1970?
yeah, I was on leave that year, finishing my doctorate. But Earth Day was in those early years a big event here, and I'm pleased to see it's become a big event again. And it never disappeared. It was always acknowledged, at least, if not celebrated in some way.
You talk about the types of people and the atmosphere of the early days in terms of students or faculty.
That's a good question. The campus at that time was much more diverse. We had many foreign students and many students from other states, particularly the East Coast, well, both coasts, as the environmental component received a lot of publicity. And so that added a degree of sophistication and excitement to the campus. And it was beneficial to the campus to have this kind of variety. And then it also came from the faculty, that the faculty was more diverse in terms of intellectual orientation. It attracted people that were interested in innovation and change, and that, I think, was self-selected. A lot of very interesting people, and I see that we're getting some of that today. I think the faculty is a little more diverse than it has been in the recent past, and we're benefiting from that.
Do you remember the action program that Professor Clifton headed
Yeah.
up?
I was involved in that. Along with Professor Gandry, we worked in the Bad River Reservation for a couple of summers on economic development projects. And I found that to be, and along with students, and for students and faculty, and obviously the Native American community, I think it was a beneficial experience. That was a large and worthwhile program.
Looking again, I've been looking at the news releases and events held here, and in those early years there was quite a bit on population, and also some things on the new role for women. And my thought looking back says, wow, you must have had trouble with the Catholic Church here. This is sort of a seat of the Catholic Church. Did you get phone calls or letters or?
Well, I don't recall that. We of course had a unit called Population Dynamics, and we had a couple of demographers on the campus, which we don't have now, which is, I think, a shame. But I don't recall that there was any objection expressed from the Catholic Church. Ed Weidner may have heard about it, but I don't recall any.
Was Ed Weidner close with the faculty or with yourself, or obviously as vice chancellors, or is he very much busy with himself?
No. Ed and Jean Weidner were gracious hosts and hostesses. Ed came from a different, I think a more traditional experience as a campus. I mean, you can't look at this campus without seeing the fingerprints of Ed Weidner all over it. And he spent an extraordinary amount of time on the campus. He was here weekends. He would be walking the Arboretum trails. He and Gene Weidner had their house open virtually, seemed to me every weekend. There was some event there, and small groups of faculty and community people, and visiting dignitaries. The house was being used constantly for entertaining to a degree that we haven't seen since. But he was very prominent, very visible, and also at the same time very visible internationally, with a lot of travel.
Let me ask you, I know you have to go and I don't want to hold you much longer, but there's I would call it an urban myth, but we're on the campus, whatever, that the tunnel system and landscaping was built for crowd control, that in case of student uprisings that were very common in the 60s, that somehow gave an advantage to the campus security. Is there any foundation to that? Was there any discussion that went on among faculty?
Not that I'm not aware of that at all.
Have you heard that myth?
Oh yeah, and I've heard another one that I think is in all likelihood a myth too. That if you recall, in those days, downtown Green Bay was a mess. There was a Grigsby project, the Greater Green Bay development. And there was some talk that wouldn't downtown Green Bay be a great place for this university? And maybe in retrospect it is. But it's here. It has arguably the most attractive campus of any school in the Midwest. And it is surrounded by this fantastic arboretum that I think that all ties together with what Chancellor Weidner had as his vision of the place. That it's an island of intellectual refuge, and where the students can come and they can have an experience, which I hope they appreciate, on the campus. I hope they see the beauty of it and the park-like setting in which they're found, and then they can leave and go back to another world.
Okay. Last question. Do you know of any other campuses around the world that have adopted things because of learning them at Green Bay or seeing them? I see the long list of college delegations that came here. There was a big one from Alberta, I think Athabasca or whatever.
Yeah,
And
Athabasca University.
Whatever happened, did they pick up on some things?
Yeah, I think parts of our academic plan have been picked up. I know Athabasca University did. And I think components had been adopted by a number of places. Not only the academic elements of the academic plan, but also our physical structure, with the symbolic core of the campus being the library, and then the various wings radiating from it. And it's, in actual concept, pretty traditional, but the way it was done here is innovative. But I don't know that it's been copied, but I think elements have been picked up. Yeah, we had a steady stream of visitors here all the time.
Yeah.
And you still get a few.
Okay. Well, thank you. I know you have a schedule to keep.